Are you frequently in a state of fatigue? It might surprise you to learn that your cellular health begins to decline as early as 25 years of age. As you get older, your cell membranes start to become like Swiss cheese. The cellular damage is the primary cause of biological aging and could be the root of your fatigue. But there's a breakthrough supplement that's scientifically proven to repair and renew your body's cells. NT-factor lipids. NT-factor lipids are identical to the phospholipids found in your cellular membranes. NT-factor is the only solution proven and published in medical journals to repair those dead spots in the membranes. I've been using NT-factor for years. I don't go a day without it. NT-factor lipids comes in an easy-to-use powder in 2 convenient sizes. For more information and to order, just call 800-982-9158, 800-982-9158, or go to ntfactor.com. That's ntfactor.com for NT-factor lipids powder. Welcome to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. It's our weekly Q&A with Leyla, wherein we answer your questions. Questions can come to questions@drhoffman.net. With me today is Leyla Muden, who is our resident nutritionist, and together we endeavor to answer your questions. 2 heads are better than 1, and so whenever I need a lifeline or she needs one, we're here to give you a stereo response.
Right.
So, how you doing?
Okay. We try anyway, Dr. Hoffman. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. And you're enjoying some respite from winter of 2026 here in New York. Yesterday was 70 degrees. Today it's mild in the 60s. And it's nice to just kind of, throw on a T-shirt and a light jacket and, walk around outside. And you don't have to kind of scrunch down and, hunker down in the face of, the icy wind. So I understand that this respite will be of short duration, but no matter because
we'll take it. But we'll take it.
We'll take it. But I'll be headed for the Southern Hemisphere this next week, and to enjoy a little bit of what will be hopefully Indian summer in New Zealand, late summer, early fall in New Zealand, where the temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. So that should be fun.
Wow.
A little bit of a bike trip. So we'll be posting pictures and sharing information with you, and I'll have a lot to tell you when I come back, tell you about.
Terrific. Is there a lot of snakes and spiders and things you got to watch out for? Am I thinking of Australia, maybe? Or
parts of Australia do have kind of weird. I think New Zealand is sort of, the way I envision it, is sort of like British Columbia. Is that it's kind of a rainforest, but a temperate rainforest where there's a lot of vegetation. And of course, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, the ring thing, the Jackson movies, that's the kind of scenery there. There are glaciers, there are snow-capped peaks, there's, beautiful beaches and, luxuriant forests. And it's supposed to be quite an interesting place. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Terrific.
Also, we'll stop in to see our friends at Calicurb in Auckland, New Zealand. So
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
That'll be fun. So anyway, I just, before we get into questions, here's an encouraging study. We tend to think of aging as a process of progressive decline, right? It's kind of like, it's the aging narrative, which is that you decline inexorably in your physical and cognitive functions. And there's a new Yale study that challenges assumptions about aging, that it's an inexorable progression towards physical and cognitive decline. What they found in this study is that a fairly high percentage of adults, nearly half of adults age 65 and older, showed measurable improvements in cognitive function, physical function, or both over time. So
Wow.
this is people over 65. In other words, when exposed to the right circumstances, you can actually get better physical and mental performance. You can reverse some of these declines. Now, you can't, inevitably there will be some degree of decline, but this is an encouraging study. And what they said is it all depends on attitude. All depends on attitude.
And the attitude is gratitude.
Well, the attitude is that improvements were highly dependent on subjects' beliefs about aging.
Yes.
So that it is actually good to be just a little bit in denial. I call this constructive denial. That doesn't mean like, when you see blood in the toilet, or there's a lump in your breast or something that you say, no worries. You got to attend to, be a little more attentive to changes that might have a portent that, you got to get it fixed. But on the other hand, a little bit of constructive denial about aging seems to help aging.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, that helps. Attitude. Right. It reminds me of the study they did decades ago where they took people, they were probably in their 60s at the time, Dr. Hoffman, you'll remember this, and they put them in a scenario, in a situation of the decade where they grew up, like in the 1970s at the time.
That'd be fun.
At the time.
Yeah.
And their whole attitude started to change. They started to talk differently.
Right.
They had a spring in their step.
Right.
Everybody was wearing the same fashion, the wood paneling in the homes that they were in. It was a whole big, it was a terrific study. They did that. And when they brought those people back into how they grew up, or the decor and the attitudes and the people, that they grew up with and how they dressed and how they talked, they started to kind of get younger. Interesting. Seemingly.
This reminds me of an experience I had a few years back in Las Vegas when I saw the Eagles play.
Yeah.
And I have to say that the crowd was rather middle-aged and geriatric, but they were so pumped up by seeing the Eagles, which is the band that they grew up with, that it was, I think it was definitely an anti-aging elixir. And a lot of the bands are still touring now, and it's always fun to that's one of the ways to kind of recreate your errant youth. So, yeah.
Terrific. Yay. All right. So, yeah. And I know the baby boomer generation, which is our generation, they're not gonna age easily.
Exactly.
So maybe that bit of denial that's happening might be a roadmap for the younger generation as they get older.
It's actually a little unprecedented because baby boomers, I think, are the first generation who actually have a belief that, they say, 80 or, whatever, 70 are a man's allotted, time. And if you're lucky, 80, that was, I guess, in the Bible or something. And, this was thought to be like the ultimate longevity. But I think because of the medical advances, we're beginning to think of longevity in different ways for our generation. It was not uncommon for, my father passed away at 70. I'm over 70 now. My mother passed away in her early 80s. But what we've come to expect is that, we have longer longevity horizons.
Yes.
And that, by hook or crook through our own good efforts to stay healthy, which is what intelligent medicine is all about, but also through medical interventions, breakthroughs that we can achieve, a longer, we push our expiration date a little further out.
Yes.
So,
that's the intent.
we baby boomers were a little spoiled in that regard too. It's like we expect it. Yeah.
Right. Oh my goodness. So that's great. Okay. So, it occurs to me Paul McCartney, I think, is 82 years old and he's still performing.
I think Mick Jagger's at 80-something.
80-something as well.
Yeah.
So, these guys are still rocking and rolling. It used to be you turn 50 and say, what do you think? You think you're still a rock and roll star? You're old 50 now. What's going on?
Yeah.
These guys are 30, 30 years after that even, and they're still jumping up and down, so to speak.
Yeah. And then there's Keith Richards, who's a miracle of survival. Keith Richards, who's imbibed every
Didn't he have
harmful
transfusions?
substance known to man. They call him the lizard man, because he's,
Yeah. Hasn't he had transfusions, though? Has that helped? Would that be a reason for a transfusion?
Who knows?
Is that going to become in vogue in the anti-aging community?
Who knew that, alcohol, tobacco, and heroin, were anti-aging substances?
Right.
But actually, but seriously, Keith, he's actually a really thoughtful guy, and he's actually written a book, and he's really turned his life around. He's very straight edge now in terms of his lifestyle. We've gone from one extreme to the other, extreme self-destructiveness to some real great self-preservational lifestyle.
Terrific.
Yeah.
That's great. It's great.
So
you got to learn that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Apropos. So before we get to questions, let's give our sponsors an opportunity to share an important message. So here goes. Listen up.
Now, more than ever, it is important to have a healthy immune system. Many health professionals agree that probiotics are a leading natural therapy for boosting immune health. Why? Because 70% of your body's immune cells reside in the GI tract. By taking a superior probiotic daily, like Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, you can enhance your overall immune system and immune response. The key to Dr. Ohhira's success is the 500-plus postbiotic metabolites that are in each capsule. Postbiotic metabolites are important to the regulation of most systems in our body. For a short-term immune boost, try Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus. Merging nature and science, Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus combines Brazilian green propolis, vitamin E, astaxanthin, and tocotrienols for additional and powerful immune support. Be proactive about your immune health. Ask your retailer today about Dr. Ohhira's probiotics and Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus today. Also available online.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting our sponsors. They are what make intelligent medicine a continuing free resource to you. And now let us start with some questions. Questions come to questions@drhoffman.net. And thanks for the questions. They are grist for the mill for discussions. They don't have to be questions. They can be comments. Maybe, you're reacting to something that we've said. Maybe we've misspoken and you want to challenge some of the things we've said. We welcome that. Also, just anything that's happening on the contemporary scene that you want to comment on. That's also fodder for discussion. So great.
Yep, we welcome it. Okay. We've got a question here from Adriana. What are good supplements before and after a CT angiogram or NDCT with contrast?
Okay. So let's talk about what is a CT? What's the physics behind a CT? Well, an X-ray is a snapshot that is two-dimensional, okay? And somehow they figured that if they could create a donut, you go into that donut. Yeah. And the donut takes a bunch of X-rays of you from a lot of different angles. And it's CAT stands for computer-assisted tomography. And with the advent of computers, they were able to summate all these images, multiple images, and create a 3D image. So what they talk about in CT scans, they talk about slices. They can kind of go slice through the depth of your tissue. They can say, okay, that's the surface of your liver. Let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper. Let's see the whole liver. And so with CT angiography, angio means blood vessels. They're looking at the blood vessels. But in order for the blood vessels to show up, you have to inject a dye, a contrast dye, which then highlights the lumen of the artery, the inside of the artery. Yes. And then the CT also looks at soft tissue, which is something that an X-ray generally doesn't do. CTs can look at soft tissue pretty well. And when you look at the soft tissue in a CT angiogram, you can see plaque. You can even see non-calcified plaque or
Soft plaque.
soft plaque. Thank you.
Yeah.
Soft plaque, which is not detectable with another type of test that we often talk about. We talk about the CAC, the coronary artery calcium score. That just gives you a quantitative score of how much calcified plaque there is. But the argument is that may be the tip of the iceberg. There may be some soft plaque that needs to be visualized with the CT angiogram. I think the CT angiogram is a good test. It is now, they have software which analyzes it and tells you how bad your plaque situation is, how dangerous it is. It doesn't just say how much plaque you have. It says, do you have the kind that's not so dangerous? Do you have the kind that is very likely to lead to blood clots or heart attack? So it's a good test. It's a little expensive, often not covered by insurance. And I think that if there's a question as to what the CAC, the EBT heart scan revealed, then you can go on to a CT angiogram. The advantage is, unlike a stress test may be negative, in other words, normal, but you might have some plaque. And, so you want to know, how are you doing? But here's the thing, when you do, like the physics of it is that you take a lot of x-rays, the amount of radiation exposure is many-fold higher than with a chest x-ray.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get too many CAT scans in your life.
No.
Unless they're absolutely necessary. There's also something called a CT PET scan, which is for cancer, to find the cancer. And there's a fair amount of radiation with that. So what do you do to minimize the damage? It's known that if you get a lot of x-rays and or CT scans cumulatively over a lifetime, you might have your risk of cancer increased by as much as 10%, which is, doesn't mean that it causes cancer, but it can somewhat, it's ionizing radiation that can cause mutations in your
exposure.
DNA. It's like, the way that sunlight causes skin cancer. It's, but it goes internal into the body. It's radiation. So, unlike, Chernobyl radiation, it's not sticking around in your body. So it's just one off. But what happens is there's two things to be worried about. Not worry, but, I put it in parentheses. In quotation marks. One is the radiation, and the other is the effect of the dye. And people who have kidney problems sometimes have kidney injury from the dye. Usually if you have normal kidney function, that's fine. But if you have, slightly, your creatinine is 1.7 or, 2.1 or something, it's going to put a little bit of load on your kidney to excrete the dye. So one of the preventives is NAC, N-acetylcysteine. And that is, you kill two birds with one stone because it's an antioxidant. You may want to take some additional antioxidants the day of. But NAC would be good. What's the dose? 500, 600?
Yeah, 500 or 600, I would say twice daily, even 3 times a day, around the time of the appointment for the CT angiography with contrast.
A couple of days before, maybe a couple of days after,
Yeah, keep it going, even for a couple of weeks after that. N-acetylcysteine is the precursor to glutathione, the master antioxidant in the body responsible for detoxification. So that's why it's helpful that way. Making sure that you have enough vitamin D as well puts you in a better situation, because having enough vitamin D helps to upregulate the glutathione in your body as well.
Okay.
So having at least, above or not insufficient levels.
And I think a good hydration status, it goes without saying, helps your body get rid of the dye material more readily. So you don't want to be dehydrated. Anything else that we can suggest?
Yeah. Well, I know that with MRI, the contrast with MRI, gadolinium, which is different from Adriana's question, that there is something that says eating a diet lower in oxalates may be helpful in helping the body to detox out that gadolinium.
So the Swiss chard that I had the other night, that's not a good idea?
Maybe the collards, the sweet potatoes, the
spinach.
The cans of spinach.
The
peanuts may not be the best thing around the time of getting a scan of this sort or getting imaging.
I hear the worst
sort.
thing is
That's
rhubarb
something.
pie. Rhubarb pie is the worst.
My mother made the best rhubarb pie.
But it's
I
full.
remember
It's
as a
full of
kid.
oxalates, though.
Yeah,
Loaded.
Yeah.
Because oxalates are bitter, and that's why you have to put a ton of sugar into rhubarb pie. That's
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise.
Yeah. I like me some rhubarb pie about once a year, I think.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, Adriana, there you go. NAC, maybe some vitamin C, make sure your vitamin D levels are good. All of that will be helpful in this. A lot more CT scans are being offered other than other imaging. Even the EBT heart scan is now a CT type of scan, isn't it, Dr.
Well,
Hoffman?
the way that CT scanners will give you the EBT, it's an adjustment on the machine, and so CT scanners, as they are, they can be calibrated to deliver just lower radiation for an EBT scan. That's a fairly low radiation study. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a radiologist and you have the 411 on this, let me know. Let us know.
Yeah.
Patient questions at drhoffman.net. But that's I hope I've stated it correctly. But just parenthetically, if you get an MRI, there's no radiation. Let's just keep that in mind. There's no radiation.
There's no radiation.
But MRIs, I guess MRI technology is being evaluated for looking at coronary arteries. But I think that currently most of the mojo in heart imaging is around CT angiography.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Adriana,
we interviewed a guy, a company that does that clearly, but spelled Cleerly, clearly.
Clearly. Yeah. That's a test that's offered as well. Okay. Let's see here. We've got a question. I believe you got this via Facebook, Dr. Hoffman, about vitamin E.
Okay.
Vitamin E has great many benefits. However, once thought to help with heart health, research now shows that high doses may increase the risk of heart failure and hemorrhagic stroke. The recommendation against vitamin E supplementation stems from 2 trials that showed an increased risk of hemorrhagic stroke with doses of 111 and 200 international units per day. And as a result, the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, they're really, really super conservative with stuff.
Yeah, they are.
USPSTF, a panel of disease prevention experts, recommends against using vitamin E to prevent cardiovascular disease.
Right. So I think the bloom is a little bit off the rose on vitamin E for cardiovascular protection, but I'll explain why. Way back when I was cutting my teeth in this field, there were a couple of brothers, the Shute brothers, Shute. One of them was Neville, and I don't remember the name of the other one. Neville, I think Neville Shute. Anyway, or was Neville Shute the guy who wrote the movie On the Beach? That could be. I might be confusing. Anyway, so the Shute brothers wrote a book about how vitamin E was the bomb for cardiovascular prevention. And in those days, the main form of vitamin E was either the dry E, succinate, which I don't like at all. It's a synthetic E, or there was alpha tocopherol. Now, there are actually 4 different isomers of vitamin E.
Yeah.
And they also are closely related to 4 different isomers of tocotrienol. So there's alpha tocopherol, gamma tocopherol, other tocopherols.
I think is
and
another.
then there's similarly with tocotrienols. And what I like is a combination of all of the above in relatively modest doses, not super high doses. So I think that more replicates the kind of vitamin E complex that you would get from, say, an avocado. Avocados are rich in vitamin E, but there's all of the different isoforms of vitamin E, tocopherols and tocotrienols within natural foods like
Yeah.
nuts and avocados. So fast forward to studies of vitamin E. Vitamin E has not really been found to be that successful for Parkinson's disease, for cancer. There was one study with vitamin E in prostate cancer. And
I
now,
remember that study. I have to interrupt you, Dr.
sure,
Hoffman.
go,
Sorry.
please. Yeah.
That vitamin E prostate
Yeah.
cancer study,
Yes.
they only used D-alpha tocopherol.
And it was the select study. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was a select study, and they used
was called Select.
selenium as well. And
Yes.
they're even saying that the selenium may have helped combat the D-alpha tocopherol form of vitamin E.
Right.
Possibly.
Right.
So
So what
many
I'm saying-
studies were using D-alpha tocopherol, which is a problem.
It's a little like the situation with beta carotene. You know, beta carotene is a carotenoid, and there are really, many, many carotenoids. And
Yeah.
there's, beta carotene and gamma. It's a lot of different things that impart color to leafy greens and fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
So carotenoids are a whole family of things. We want like a mixed carotenoid as we do a mixed tocopherol tocotrienol formulation. So I currently take something like that, but at a fairly low dose. What they say is that it increases the risk of hemorrhagic strokes. There are two types of strokes. There's hemorrhagic strokes where you have a brain bleed. And then there's what are called ischemic strokes where you have a blood clot. 85% of strokes are ischemic strokes.
Yeah.
And so whenever you have something that thins the blood, there's a benefit on ischemic because it prevents clots.
Yes.
But the downside is it somewhat increases the risk of
hemorrhagic
bleeds, of hemorrhagic. Okay. So, but I would say if with that ratio of 85 to 15, I'll take that ratio. Okay. Because if there's some,
Absolutely.
same thing with aspirin. Aspirin reduces the risk of strokes, but aspirin increases the risk of hemorrhagic strokes. And it's very frequently employed. So many blood thinning drugs, similarly, they have that same.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's fair to criticize vitamin E on that basis. I just have to say that the research in vitamin E is not resoundingly positive. When it comes to heart failure, I was kind of surprised that they found an increase in the risk of heart failure.
Yeah.
But so the suggestion is that maybe we shouldn't give a lot of vitamin E to people with heart failure, but it's not going to give a normal person heart failure.
Right. It's not going to give yeah. So, okay. Interesting. So there we go to the person who wrote us about this vitamin E. Okay.
I mean, this is why we have to kind of keep up with things. We can't make the same recommendations that we made in 1990,
Right. Absolutely. Because it's always changing. It's never settled. Such is the nature of science, including nutritional science. So there we are. Okay. Oh, we've got an email here from Dennis. Hi, Dr. Hoffman and Leyla. In your recent discussion, Dr. Hoffman, with Neil Levin, you discussed turmeric and curcumin. If I heard correctly, Dr. Levin said that turmeric was more bioavailable than curcumin. Is there any reason to take turmeric instead of the engineered curcumin products? And at what dose? Well, certainly use turmeric in your cooking. And
so this is an example of how two things can be right at the same time. Okay. So on the one hand, turmeric is a source of the compound turmeric, which has a lot of benefits, maybe anti-cancer benefits, maybe brain benefits, cardiovascular benefits.
You mean turmeric contains curcumin? Yeah.
Did I keep saying? Okay. So turmeric contains curcumin, which is the active anti-inflammatory compound in turmeric.
Right.
All right. So it turns out that when you extract curcumin and you put it into a pill, the matrix of turmeric helps deliver the curcumin better than in many formulations.
Right.
Like if you put, concentrated curcumin oil or powder, but there's not that much curcumin in in curry. There's a little bit,
Right. Yeah.
but so in an effort to amp up the delivery of it, we take it out and we concentrate it, but it makes it less bioavailable.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there's more of it. There's
Yes.
more of it. It's just
Right.
less bioavailable. The little bit of curcumin that's in turmeric is more bioavailable. Is
Mhm.
that clear,
Yeah.
I think?
Yeah,
And-
yeah. And the thing is, how much curry you're going to eat, how much turmeric are you going to use? The point being that the curcumin in its original packaging, the curcumin in the original packaging,
Yeah.
turmeric, is
It's the natural
best
form. It's the
bioavailable.
natural
Exactly.
form. Yeah.
exactly.
So, however, there various technologies have been developed to make turmeric more bioavailable.
Right,
Sometimes combining it with bioperine, which is pepper, and
Mhm.
sometimes encapsulating it with, in like
Liposomal, maybe even.
liposomal forms.
Because
and-
even cooking with turmeric, you want it with fats to be able to
Right.
absorb
Exactly.
it better.
Exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, however, I mean, there is some evidence that folks who consume a lot of curry, as they do in the Indian subcontinent,
Mhm.
that they have some degree of protection from cognitive decline
Mhm.
because of, and they're not taking supplements, they're getting it
Right.
naturally.
Yeah.
So, hedge your bets, get it both ways. I,
Get it
like
both ways.
using
Use it.
turmeric spice.
Mhm.
How do you use turmeric? Turmeric is in your spice rack. How do you
Yes.
utilize it?
I will add it. I will add it to, if I'm making curries and sauces and things like that. I may even sprinkle some on scrambled eggs as I'm cooking
Mhm.
them,
Mhm.
or an omelet. That's about it. My husband, when he's making rice, he will add turmeric and the rice becomes yellow.
Yellow
He
rice,
just
yeah.
likes that.
Right,
He just
good.
likes that.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah, that's another.
I sometimes put it into omelet,
Yeah.
because it gives a,
It's
interesting.
yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's
When I
nice
was
flavor.
a vegetarian and I was making tofu omelets, I would, fool myself by putting a little turmeric into it to make it look more like eggs.
Right. Oh, that's good. Did it work?
No, because
Yeah.
tofu is not eggs. I mean, it's
No,
got a
it's
lot
not.
it's got some of the properties of eggs. It's got choline, which is,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
so I also throw a little turmeric sometimes in my chili, to
Nice.
balance out the
Oh,
flavors.
definitely into chili. Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
into chili.
I use, chili powder and I use a tiny bit of turmeric. I
Yeah.
use some cocoa powder. I use the Flava
That
Naturals
enhances
cocoa.
the flavor.
It
Right.
does. I
right.
do.
Like a mole kind of. There is some chocolate going on in there.
I'm making that
Mexican
tonight.
sauces.
I'm getting some
Nice.
hamburger and, going to make some tacos tonight.
Lovely.
So, anyway,
Mhm.
so both can be correct at the same time. So,
Yeah.
you
Terrific.
it's more bioavailable with turmeric, a
Mhm.
little less bioavailable, but much more concentrated when you take the
Right.
formulations.
And I think there was, I'm not sure. I haven't seen it a lot. Turmeric milk, or adding turmeric to coconut
Oh, yeah.
cream.
No,
when
there's
you're cooking.
golden milk is
Golden milk.
an Indian thing.
Yeah. So that could be something that you
It's
can
an
use. It there as well.
Ayurvedic thing. I actually,
Yeah.
and you can buy the powder and you mix it into warm milk, and it's a very nice, like a bedtime drink, and that's one way to get your turmeric, your curcumin. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that very thoughtful question, Dennis. Okay.
Okay, so good point at which to
Yeah.
pause because we divide our podcast into two parts. So, Leyla, give us a preview of what we're going to tackle in part 2.
Tony is wondering, when I look at the ingredients on shampoo, I find dozens of ingredients, and I know a lot of them are no-nos, even those marked free from sulfates, parabens, fragrance. How do I know what to look for and what I should be avoiding?
Okay, good question.
Yeah.
When we return, I'm
Mhm.
Dr. Ronald Hoffman. It's our weekly Q&A with Leyla. Send questions to questions@drhoffman.net. They can also be comments. We haven't set up a separate mailbox for comments at drhoffman.net, but questions implies comments. And we'll read your question on the air, and we'll attempt to answer it on a future edition of Q&A with Leyla.
Yep.
We'll be back in just a moment.